Hello, everyone. My name's Brian. I'm a longtime Gen Con attendee and a local to Indianapolis, and I thought it could be useful to share some tips that I've found over these last several years attending Gen Con. First, I wanted to talk about getting around Gen Con. It can be a little more complicated than you would think. My first tip is if you're in a group of people, set up a group chat that everyone's a part of. Sometimes it's hard to hear people if you're trying to call someone on a phone, and it's easy to just send a message to everyone. Let's meet here. Let's do this. Is anyone free to play a game? Any chat app should work. The internet's okay in the Indiana Convention Center. It seems to vary based on where you're at. Maybe if you're completely surrounded by people, it could be a little rough, but it's been pretty good the last several years. Next, something that always bugs me as a local is that the Gen Con maps are upside down. So if you look at this map of Gen Con, everything is oriented so that south is to the north. And this can really mess with you if you pull out your phone and you're looking like for directions to get somewhere you want to eat or whatever. So just know if you're looking at a map, you need to flip that over to get the orientation. You can see how this looks a lot like that. Next, I want to talk about skywalks and tunnels. So in August, usually the weather's okay, but it can be rainy, it can be really hot. And in 2012, I believe Indianapolis hosted the Super Bowl at Lucas Oil Stadium. And as part of that effort, since it was kind of the middle of the winter, they built a network of tunnels to connect several hotels. So you can get to most of the hotels and convention space that Gen Con's in without ever going outside. It can be a little convoluted, but it's kind of fun to figure out. Can be very helpful, especially if it's rainy, or maybe you just don't want to have to run across streets. Also, related to navigating, the expo hall, the map is also upside down. So this is actually the south wall of the convention center. Everything's laid out on these grids, and they have numbers posted on banners up above. It can be really useful to navigate. It's very obvious once you get in there, but it might not be something that you notice right away. I also recommend if you need to meet up with people in your group, that rather than say, let's meet at this booth or that booth, which people might have to look up, just say, let's meet at the front or the back of aisle 2500. They can just look up to the sky, see those banners, and go in that direction. And then after that expo hall closes, early on, I always wondered, like, what am I supposed to do? I don't have any events. Like, kind of depending on where you're at in your con experience and how many people are with you, you've got some options. But mainly, you want to play games. So there's several places. The JW Marriott has open gaming. So if you have your own games, you can go there and get a table. This does tend to fill up, especially Friday and Saturday night. So you might need to try to get there early. But you can also go there and just look for people. People will have like flags or say that they want to play a game, and that can be a great way to find some people to play with. Tons of fun there. The BGG Hot Games Room, this is a ticketed event, but they have all of the newest games that will be released at Gen Con. And if you want to play something and you don't mind learning it or pre-reading the rules before you show up, it can be a great way to play some of the games that are harder to get demos of in the expo hall. Also, all of those connected hotels, many of them will set up table space that you can play at in their bars or restaurants, or they'll clear out space that they don't use. And we find lots of people and just places to play around Gen Con, not in the event itself, at the hotels and bars. The games library is another ticketed event, but they have a huge library of games, similar setup. You can check games out. So, kind of depending on if you have your own games to take or you want to play games that are at Gen Con, those are some options. This whole big event hall where they have all these demos and events all day long, at night, a lot of those events clear out. The vendors aren't running events at night. If you go up to any of the hall HQs, so there'll be these, like, sometimes they're elevated booths or there'll be people from Gen Con working, and you ask for a table, they will assign you a table and you can play your game at that table. They will look in the system, say, okay, there's no events for 2 hours at this table, go take it over. And that's really awesome. And then you could just tell people, meet us at red 25, and those tables are laid out, and the table mats, kind of the color of the tables indicate which section it's in. Another place that you can play some games are in the vendor rooms. So this is a picture of the CGE room, which is on the second floor, just kind of above the entrance to the expo hall. And they have demos and games running all the time. Rio Grande used to run a game room that may or may not be there. I'm not sure what's there this year, but kind of look around in some of those auxiliary rooms and you might find something to do. Another question I get asked a lot is where to eat in Indianapolis. There are a ton of dining options. Of course, you've got the Gen Con block party, which will have all the food trucks and kind of the place to go, but the lines there can be really long and it's very expensive food. Um, so just a few blocks away, there are like restaurants, bars that you can go to, and we've had a lot of success just walking an extra block, and it's like no conventions going on. You can sit down immediately, order food, get cooled off if it's hot. Another great option, food's okay, but I enjoy it. It's called Cluster Truck. It's a delivery system. There's an app for it. It's kind of pricey, but they will bring food to wherever you're at. So several times when playing in the JW Marriott or in some kind of common space, we've ordered food, a pizza or tacos or something, and just meet them at a door, pick it up, and you've got your food right there without ever having to leave whatever it is that you're doing. Lastly, have fun and enjoy Gen Con.